Alrighty, good morning. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm your host, Harvey Freed. We got a huge panel today, starting off with Harry Glanz.
Morning, everybody. How's everybody doing today?
Hey, good morning, Harry. Good to see you. We've got Val McFarland on from National Realty. Hey, Val.
Hello, hello.
Oh, good, Val. You're coming in loud and clear. And Keith Stonehouse, he's on the line with us, Franklin Title Agency, Mr. Title himself. Hey, Keith.
Hey, good morning.
All right, there you are. And is Becky Alley on there with us?
Not yet, but Harvey, I want to ask Val a question. You know, we have the luxury of seeing a Zoom broadcast here.
Yeah.
I want to know, Val, what is that?
Okay,
what is to your left? What is that?
Okay, this dog, this is for you, Harry. This is for you. This is for your show. He's been your biggest fan, and I finally get a chance for you two to meet.
Well, I have my dog, right? I have my dog next to me right now, and I'm sure during the broadcast, everybody's going to hear my dog because she makes an appearance. Her voice makes an appearance every week.
What is that, Val? A skeleton of a dog? I can't really see it. Bad eyesight.
When he was a puppy, he was a big fan of your show, and then I've just kept him ever since. His name is Harry.
Yeah, I think what that is, I think that's a lender biting the hand of a realtor.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. You know, that reminds me, we're going to give open lines all morning long. We're going to talk mortgages, real estate, having Keith Stonehouse on, Franklin Title Agency. We'll talk title, what's going on in the title world. These guys were out working late last night, closing all those last-minute purchases. Of course, yesterday, here, as we know, was the last day of closing purchases for the month of October. Hey, if it didn't close yesterday, hey, Harry, there's still Monday, Tuesday. There's all of next month.
Yeah, it's amazing. So what we're seeing, Harvey, is that October was a very busy month in the real estate, lending, title, appraisal, inspection business. All of our related vendors were very busy. Now, what we're seeing for November, and we've got our November projections out, is that November this year will be equally as busy as October, as August, September. This has been a very busy year because of the prolonged activity that occurred through COVID, March, April, and May. So it's delayed our business 3 months is what it really has done.
Keith, there's no doubt your staff was working late last night. Actually, you were on the other end of a transaction of mine yesterday. I didn't even know it until a couple of days ago that you were representing the sellers on a transaction yesterday that had closed in the afternoon. But Keith, give us a little vibe of what's going on in your office. Just nonstop closings, trying to get them all set up. Right. Who'd ever think that we would have this kind of action going into really what was going to be a good home buying season. But of course, the pandemic has given us lots of different reasons to buy new homes. Val, there's no doubt families are taking advantage. They're either stepping up or they're moving out. A lot of them said, wait a minute, I don't want to be cooped up in one of these little small condominiums anymore. I need a backyard. I need a place to have some fun. What have you been working with all summer long, Val? Give me a little what's going on in your world.
Okay, so we have actually been extremely busy, and we're continuing to see that throughout the entire year. People are moving. That's, it's what they need to do, not just because of COVID, but we've been really fortunate. I'm very blessed.
Yeah, we feel that way too. Harry, pending home sales this year, 20.5% up. September, the numbers came in for September. They were up 20%. And as you just said, Harry, we're going to see the same thing in November. So we're up of over 20% from last year. But what's going on there, Harry, is the inventory is so low right now. It's been a madhouse. Families are having trouble getting their offers accepted. There's some frustration. They really need to have a team and a local lender representing them.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct, Harvey. And I will tell you this, as most recently as last night at 9:00 at night, I got a call. And we're all getting calls. If you're in this industry and you're not getting calls at night and on the weekends, you're just not busy. Frankly, so my buyer called me up yesterday and said, what do we do to make my offer more attractive? Well, Right now, it is common, and I'm saying it's common. I'm not stepping on any realtor's toes here. It's just saying it is what it is. It is common for people to offer free occupancy after closing. Now, that term for free occupancy is to be determined, obviously, in the negotiation. So if you want to let somebody live in your property after you close, because it is your property and you're making the payments after you close for free, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, that's up to you. But people charging people right now a per diem rate to stay in after closing has really gone by the wayside. What do you guys think?
Val, yeah,
Great. Yeah, I think that's a sweet deal. If you can offer that occupancy for free, that's a great way to go, right? I mean, we're fighting over houses. We're doing everything we can, even as realtors. You know, you want to make that deal happen. That's our job, right?
Yeah, Keith used to hold back a lot of escrow money when families would obviously need maybe 30, 60 days to stay in the property. Of course, when they close on a mortgage, they have to occupy the home within 60 days. So, but you do a lot of the escrow holdbacks. Keith, are you seeing it? Has it been like something that's been a little different this year where we're seeing more and less escrow holdbacks because families have been given 2 or 3 weeks additional free occupancy? Hey, Keith, one of the things that pops up on title quite a bit, and of course, title insurance is one of those pieces of the puzzle that most people don't know about, but without it, we're never closing a transaction. Of course, we need to get it, make sure that all the homes are free and clear of all liens. And what's coming up a lot, Keith, and maybe you can comment on this, is the assessments. And Val, you see it too, because some of these older subdivisions now have assessments for their roads. I'm not talking necessarily condominiums as much as single family homes, but there are road assessments just all over all of our towns here. And it appears that some negotiations could be done there. And Val, maybe you and Keith could actually comment on that. Some assessments are just have to be paid by the seller at closing. Sometimes that could be actually thrown into your negotiation to get the house.
Keith, you want to go first on that?
Val, as sellers, you really got to sit down with them and say, hey, have you got some assessments on the house? Maybe this is where the experience comes in, and you got to really break it down with the sellers to make sure that there's no surprises at the closing table.
Absolutely. You know, you get all that taken care of and make sure, because when you price the house, everything's got to be taken care of, buttoned up. And as Keith was saying, you know, really it's important because you're seeing it more so with the condos. Sure.
Hey, we're going to take all your calls all morning long. 909, if you're just joining us, it's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. We take your calls live here in the studio, 248-539-9797. A jam-packed, awesome day and a happy Halloween out there to everyone. Make sure it's a safe one for your family and friends. But in the sports world, look out. We've got Michigan State football, Harry, coming up at noon here. And the broadcast is going to start on 97.1 at 11 o'clock. So definitely sports all day long. But you know, definitely a lot of houses divided across Michigan. Just a great time here. Again, as home buying season has been fantastic. Hopefully you guys are practicing some unbelievable home tailgate parties and doing that social distancing thing also too here, if you want to comment on that.
Well, I want to comment on the fact that I believe that you see what I'm wearing today, Harvey. I know it's Michigan State Day, but that might be an unfair game. And I'm coming from the green and white side, but I've got my Detroit Tigers stuff on. Tigers hired a new manager, AJ Hinch. So, you know, hope springs eternal for our baseball season, and I look forward to spring. But right now, you know, we're dealing with the Lions. We're dealing with Michigan State today. I don't know how much of that game I can watch today, Harvey, but, you know, I'm going to give it a go. It's going to be a rough one, I think.
Yeah, it could be a little scary out there. Hey, we'll take, like I said, all your calls all morning long. If you're buying or selling a house, if you have a situation where you haven't been able to get your offer accepted, we've got a couple of helpful tips out there. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket, 248-539-9797. We'll be right back.
Hi, Harry Glantz and Dan Burke from Capital Mortgage Funding. Over 30 years in the mortgage banking industry, hundreds of thousands of families served. Let us serve you. Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
All right, welcome back to the show, 9:15. The Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, again brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. We are powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, NMLS 2289. And you can reach us at 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage bankers. We've only been there for about 30 years now. And you got to deal with the local lender if you're going to get your offer accepted. Val will tell you that. Val McFarland with National Realty. She joins us. We got Keith Stonehouse, Franklin Title Agency. Keith, I'm going to let you jump in real quick because, Keith, you do the mastermind thing. And one of the things I love about people that are putting groups of realtors together, title companies, lenders, it's all the education. And Val, that's one of the things even you and I talk about. Keith, education in our industry is so key for buyers and seller success. Yeah, it's been great. I know that a lot of great people go to those events. Again, they get continuing education out of it, but it's just sitting around and meeting and masterminding with people that are professionals in the industry and really getting into things. Hey, Val, home ownership. There's a lot of reasons why we should become homeowners. Freedom, stability, decorating the house the way you want it, relationships with the community. Building communities and home ownership is the key to it. If you're out there, you're going to have a family, you're getting married, you're definitely going to want to buy a house.
Absolutely. I mean, right now is really a great time to buy. It's just so competitive to get your bid in. And that's why when Keith was mentioning, when you were talking about assessments, anything you can do, realtors are really pitching in. We've got some of the best realtors in the country right here in the state of Michigan. It's really a great time to buy or sell.
I agree with that. And of course, other reasons, home's been appreciating like gangbusters, almost like 5.2% average over the last several years. The stats are out there. Building equity, home ownership, building communities. These are all the great things about home ownership. Harry, that's why you and I do it. That's really what still motivates us is showing up to a closing yesterday. And we've got a couple reminders because so many families were closing yesterday on transactions. You might have to take your homestead exemption forms and your property transfer affidavits down to the city you closed at on Monday. Monday might be the last day you can get that in if you want to go ahead and get the lower taxes, the homesteaded taxes. So anyone who closed out there recently, definitely grab your paperwork, contact your lender, and contact your title company to make sure you have those proper forms. And some of those forms you just signed, Harry, you and I, we do this all the time and we take it, like we think everyone knows this stuff. Families are signing a lot of documents in closing, and this is just a little reminder of some of the documents might have been signed yesterday.
Yeah, we take it for granted that, we do it 1,000 times a day, and every form means something. So you really need to take a look and read every document and have somebody go over with you, which is what we do in the lending process. Also, Harvey, you talk about the reasons why we do this every day. When you do this every day, it's still very exciting for all of us to set our clients up for success, to help them save money. And more importantly, if they're a first-time home buyer, the excitement when you go to closing and they're closing on their first home and you've set them up for success and they're saving money by now owning a home versus renting an apartment or a house that they were in previous, there's nothing more. And I can say this after 31 years, it's still exciting to me to go to that closing that we've helped help make these people successful and save them money. I love it. Every day we do it, and I don't take it for granted. It's just fun. It's a lot of fun for all of us to do it, and we just try to keep that positive attitude and set people up for success every single day.
Hey, Val, we said we weren't going to talk about any of these so-called haunted houses that might be out there. Of course, this is Halloween, and we'd like to give a little bit of a Halloween side on it. I don't know. If the house is gorgeous, I'm buying it. But if there's noises coming out, these are some of the things that you could do to cleanse your house. You could smudging it, by smudging the house. I didn't even know what smudging was, but you can smudge the house
Right.
and get rid of it. If that doesn't work, you can do an exorcism still, right?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So quick story. I was thinking of the scariest story because it's Halloween. And this just happened a few months ago in a great neighborhood. Ironically, the door kind of opened and I'm like, what? And I'm like, no, it's 3:00. Let's go in. And then halfway, through the house, we heard these noises. I grabbed this guy who's huge. We booked it out of there. It was the water softener. It was like, it was so scary for a minute. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, squatters, in Farmington Hills. So it's crazy. But yes, lots of spooky. I'm sure you guys could write a couple books on everything you've experienced, right?
Well, there's been some scary ones. Hey, Harry out there, usually when you walk if the door automatically opens, I've heard a couple real estate agents say, well, these are the automatic doors. You guys usually have an answer to questions, things like that.
Yes, exactly, right?
But again, if all else fails and the exorcism doesn't work, try to make friends with the ghost in your house. And if all else fails, Val, we can always paint the house, right? If you just can't get rid of the spookiness, just paint it, right?
That's what you do.
All right. Or change the floors. Hey, 248-539. If you want to buy a house, 248-539-9797. We would love to hear from you. Got a whole bunch of new young buyers been calling me lately and getting organized for home ownership. And yes, they've already starting to taste what's going on because their friends are telling them that they're talking about this, Val. And Keith's showing up to the closing table and they're hearing the stories that it's taking 4 or 5 different offers to get your offer accepted. That became a theme of our show this morning, because we talked about maybe throwing in some days of occupancy, maybe picking up an assessment. There are certain things that are a little off the wall that you can do to make your offer more attractive.
Absolutely. I think when we present an offer, one of the first things I do is talk to the other realtor and say, how do we make this happen? I mean, we actually collaborate and look at everything, home warranties. We can give part of our commission. Don't shoot me for that one, but the bottom line is the relationship and getting that deal done, and we make it happen. That's the bottom line, is to get to the closing table with people like you guys and Keith that are all going to make it happen.
Val, I'll let you talk about you have a special program out that you offer. Go tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, very quickly, we're thrilled to be offering a zero commission. This is saving families in Michigan on average of $10,000. Please understand that we absolutely pay the buyer's agent. They work extremely hard to bring that buyer to you. That's number one. But we waive our 3%. And, the way that this works is it's called Everyday Heroes. It's everyone in the medical field, whether you're in the operating room or sweeping the floors. Of course, all of our military, first responders, law enforcement, education, and of course, special needs families, which, Harry, I know how special they are to you. I have a son with autism, and when we sit at the tables, what we simply say is, where are you going? And by helping them move at zero commission and putting more money in their pocket, we then ask, can we help you find your next home? And it doesn't cost them anything. It's a beautiful program. And we've worked, again, with you guys, Harry. You've helped us tremendously, and Harvey, with everything, and the title companies pitching in. But none of it would be possible, honestly, if I didn't work for National Realty Centers. The broker, and you guys know Craig Lesko's been around for 30 years and waives his fees. So it's a beautiful program. It's our way of saying thank you for what you do every day. Really,
a little special program. I love it. National Realty, Val McFarland, she'll offer you a special program. And again, if you're a frontline worker or you got situations, definitely trying to keep some additional money in your pocket. And that's our theme at Capital Mortgage Funding, trying to protect the consumer. Here you're on the Consumer Advocate Show. If you're going to be buying a house or refinancing a house, Harry, let's talk about mortgage rates. We have an election coming up on Tuesday. There's a lot of unknowns out there. We did some early predictions on our podcast, Harry, but Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, the Home Builders Association, they're all coming out with their predictions of where these rates are going.
Yeah, we talked about on our podcast on Wednesday morning, Harvey, and we don't like to make predictions. We just try to watch the trends. We're in a business where it is cyclical, and we have to watch what the markets are doing. And we came out and we said that for the next 60 to 90 days, we think things are going to stay stable. But I'm telling you, it is an election year. Go out and vote on Tuesday. And I think, this is just my prediction, if you are in the market to buy a house right now, you need to go ahead and do it right now, because these rates are not going to stay low forever. There's going to be a bump up in mortgage rates after the election. You're going to say to me, well, Harry, how do you know that? Because it happens. Historically, it happens. It's not a Harry Glanz thing. It's just a historical thing. Rates are right now, they're in the 3% range. 15 years are in the twos. They can't stay this low forever. So you're going to see this happen. It happens on administration changes all the time. So you need to go ahead if you're refinancing, lock in the rate now. What are you waiting for? Lock in the rate. They're not going down to zero. Home buying for next year, we think it's going to be brisk. I mean, I can't tell you it's going to be the same as it's going to be this year or the year before, but I will tell you we're in the 9th year, going into the 10th year of a seller's market. That is unheard of. Unheard of. So it's just there's a lack of inventory. Rates are at historic lows. It's a perfect storm right now. Now you have an election coming up. Things are going to change, everybody. Things will change.
All right, here, there you heard it right from us. Things are going to change, but take advantage of it while it's great. You've got some buying power out there. When we come back, we'll talk about your credit and things you can do to control what that house payment's going to be. 248-539-9797. We'll be right back.
Hi, Harry Glanz and Danberg from Capital Mortgage Funding. Over 30 years in the mortgage banking industry, hundreds of thousands of families served. Let us serve you. Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
Welcome back to the show. 9:31. It's going to be a gorgeous day, a gorgeous weekend. Hey, you still got to get out there and buy a house. But first, get that strong approval letter. Call Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Locally, that's easy, 248-LOW-RATE, 1-800-LOW-RATE, 569-7283. Save money. Deal with real mortgage people. I mean, it's just not a phone call anymore. I think more and more of my clients are realizing that. Told a client actually a couple of weeks ago, I said, yeah, sure, if you called around a few places, send me what those quotes look like. And sure enough, the estimate they were talking about was a client of a 760 credit score, single family house with 20% down. Well, my buyers are buying a condominium with 5% down and their credit scores aren't that good. So again, a lot of education. If you don't want to be blindsided, if you don't want to be part of that surprise party, we keep getting the phone calls, Harry. Thank goodness we have a show and a lot of you people can vent with us all week long, but save yourself the hassle. Call Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, and get a great mortgage. I think knowledge is about everything. You know, Keith, we talked about it as Keith Stonehouse is on with us, Franklin Title Agency. He does the mastermind programs. It's all about knowledge. If you want to separate yourself, even if it's for the real estate agents out there, Val, you want to be the top 10% of the agents. Keith, your agents need to know what it takes to be successful in this business. And you guys give all those helpful tips out. Ah, Keith, yeah, there's a lot of hidden fees, and I see, I'll just deal with this guy, and they're calling strangers, and the fees they don't even understand what's negotiable or not. And I don't know, I don't want to tell anyone they can't make money, but is it a little bit of a money grab and a little bit of really not being honest and telling people that's not normally a standard fee or something? Yeah, we've been more, Harry, I'll even tell you, we've been a little bit more and more concerned. Just we want to educate people and making sure that they're reading their documents, because if you're putting language in a purchase agreement and adding addendums, Val, we see it because there's some appraisal guarantees we've seen out there, but the language has to be really worded properly. We've seen some that don't make sense at all. So, again, we talk about this when you're negotiating with your team. Sit down ahead of time, find out if that real estate agent is up for the task, because in today's competitive market, they have to have a little bit additional knowledge or at least a really strong team that they can rely on.
Well, everything's disclosure, Harvey. You know that, and Keith alluded to it, and Val knows this. You have to disclose in everything, and disclosure is 100% of the transaction. It does. The fees are the fees, and you have to disclose the fees, and then you have to ask, what are these fees for? If there's an explanation for it, if there's disclosure for it, I don't have a problem with that. Then you can negotiate the fees and you can negotiate everything. But in real estate, everything is about disclosure. In the real estate world, Val will tell you, there is a seller's disclosure. They have to disclose everything that's gone on with that property, and then they have to sign their name to it. That's a big part of it. In our world, we have to disclose absolutely everything. We are bound by rules, guidelines, and laws, and we are a nation of laws, and we have to disclose. So I don't mind anybody charging fees. Do I mind some of the fees? Yes, but they have to be disclosed, and then they have to be explained.
Yeah, I mean, it's all part of a business when you're buying or selling houses. Learn, again, educate yourself. There's a lot of, as Keith mentioned, you can go to his website and even punch in some numbers. If you sell your house for X amount of dollars, it'll tell us what the title insurance fee is, what that transfer tax fee is. And those are the things you need to know. And as Keith mentioned, recording fee, and there's a couple other small ones, but you don't have to get hammered. You don't have to pay a closing fee if you're on the seller's end. Again, now, if your team does charge one, find out if it's negotiable. If it's not, well, I hope they're providing at least great service for you. All right, tons to talk about here. It's 9:36, 248-539-9797. We're going to take your calls all morning long. Harry, we are in the middle of a cash out refinance boom like we've never seen before. So many families have taken advantage of this equity. Yes, if you bought a house in the last several years, 5-10 years, you're probably sitting on a bundle of equity. And a lot of families have just done the right thing, and their lives are going good. They've been able to refinance their house, maybe get rid of the mortgage insurance, the PMI. But also some families have been able to do consolidation loans here and get rid of those high student loan debts, the high loan balances on those. They roll them into their mortgage. It really is a cash flow thing, and families really could get a hold of things by looking at maybe a consolidation loan.
Yeah, I don't like when people use their house as a piggy bank. However, to that is there is toxic debt. Toxic debt is 18% credit cards. At this point in time, if you have credit card debt and you want to alleviate that debt and then throw your credit cards away, there is an opportunity for that. But the cycle to just keep using your house as a piggy bank, I'm not in favor of that. However, there's always the however. The good part is pay off the high interest rate credit cards and then go ahead and tear up the credit cards. Leave open a gas card, leave open a major credit card, MasterCard, Visa. But other than that, you don't need all the other credit cards. You're putting yourself in jeopardy. And right now, Harvey, you mentioned it, 5.2% increase in just equity year over year the last few years. You have some built-in equity, but also home improvements. Why not? Why not finance the home improvement? And you could, with the equity, now with the lower rates, achieve the same payment that you have now and improve where you live. Because we all know people's lifestyles have changed over the last 8 months, Harvey.
Oh, yeah. And Val, let's dive into that. Boy, if your house is still on the market, the inventory has been really the conversation for the last 2 years now. It's just the lack of it. And because of the frenzy, the rates are so low, young couples are getting together, single family, there's divorces out there. So now, boom, they split up. They both need a house. So there's a lot of buyers out there. If your house isn't selling, let's talk about that a little bit. Those are tough conversations for agents. You know, do I need to walk in the house and tell you what's wrong with it, Val? Why aren't homes selling? What are usually the problems?
Okay.
Or issues?
I mean, you'll hear it's location, price, condition. That's what I learned. Price, location, condition, right? The challenges are people, when you're looking at certain price homes, they want to walk in and they want move-in ready. And if you aren't able to provide that, what we try to do is what's innovative and creative. So for example, if you don't have quartz countertops or granite countertops, instead of putting that money into it, what we'll typically do is I'll have samples of quartz and granite, and we make it like a model home and say, choose your countertop. Because what they don't want to hear as a seller is an agent call them and say, we need to reduce. Let's look at some creative and innovative ways to attract these buyers. So what we do and provide at no cost is virtual walkthroughs, virtual staging. How cool is that? I can pick out the furniture if they can't afford real staging, which of course is your first choice. But we do flowers, I mean, you name it. So why isn't it selling? It could be the layout. It could be, I mean, there's a million things that the buyers want. So that's why it's so important to show everything about that house. So when they do come to that house, those are people that want that home.
Yeah, you know, I want to know that the house has a brand new furnace and a brand new roof and a brand new functionality, the other stuff. But yeah, it's a lot prettier and sexier when someone comes to my house and goes, oh, this is gorgeous, just visual stuff where you can see all those whistles and bells. But yeah, at the end of the day, you want the structure. So sometimes you have to really point out that, look, this house is very well maintained, but they haven't remodeled it and updated it because they took care of all their stuff.
Absolutely. And that's important. I mean, my favorite song is If the Bones Are Good. You know, I mean, like we can paint. I mean, come on, HGTV. I was telling you the other day, I was fortunate enough to list a house for Nicole Curtis. Oh my gosh, I'd like to just follow her around for a week. I mean, she waves a wand and makes the house look great. So that's
she was on a local girl who was on HGTV, that girl, right?
Yes. Yeah, Nicole Curtis, that beautiful little blonde that, you know. So I just think we need to, as sellers, say, what would my wife want? What would my husband want with this house? I mean, you really have to switch it. Everyone thinks their house is worth this, right? So thanks.
All righty. Hey, we're up against another break here. Keep it on 97.1 The Ticket. When we come back, all your calls, 248-539-9797. We'll be right back.
Hi, Harry Glanz and Danberg from Capital Mortgage Funding. Over 30 years in the mortgage banking industry, hundreds of thousands of families served. Let us serve you. Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker.
All right, welcome back to the show, 944. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show. Again, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. You can find our fine staff at 1-800-LOW-RATE. That's 1-800-569-7283. If you're out of state, 1-800-3-LOW-RATE. That's easy. Right here at Capital Mortgage Funding. We're owned by, also powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, one of the top lenders in the United States. That's right. We do USDA, VA, FHA. We do every type of loan. And if your family even needs a reverse mortgage for your folks, we can help you out with that too. So call Capital. Hey, we got Val McFarland on, National Realty, and Keith Stonehouse, Mr. Title from Franklin Title Agency. Keith, we always look for validation in our industry because it's like Harry said, it's hurry up and wait. We got to hurry up and get all your documents and get you approved. And then we got to call the title company and make sure you guys got time to close the deal. It's been like that this year. Keith, give us a little vibe on what's going on in your world and you see things happening moving forward.
Well,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, or even the bigger counties. Harry, what were you going to say?
Well, I think, Harvey, you know what I was going to say. I like how Keith says that the title company is the nucleus of the transaction, right?
Yeah.
And Val's going to say, without the realtor, nobody's buying a house.
Okay.
But the truth of the matter is that without the money from the buyer,
Oh,
and
no.
then without the money from the lender, the transaction does not happen. So in a world where, you know what, they always say, follow the money, follow the money. So Keith, you could be the nucleus. Val, you could be the reason why people are buying and selling or whatever they're doing. But you want to know what? Without the lender and without the buyer, without the money, there's nothing. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Without the
agree.
buyer.
I could not agree more. Show me the money.
Show
We
you
don't
the
have
money.
the money.
Right. So
That's why
I
this is
believe
why we're
everybody-
telling everybody,
right.
if it's okay to dive into this, they need to see you. They need to get pre-approved. People don't want anyone in their home that's not pre-approved. I want them to call you guys today. These rates are unbelievable. We need the money. Then we'll shop for houses. I mean, it's down 15% right now, our listings, okay? So when people do list, because they're going to continue to list because they've got to move. And especially when we're doing a zero commission, but they've got to, as you know, they've got to have the money. So I
So
agree.
everybody should be nice.
Part of it,
Everybody should be nice in the transaction, Harvey Freed. Everybody should be nice. Nobody should ever call a lender up and start yelling at a lender. Nobody
That's
should
not nice.
call a realtor up and start yelling at a realtor. And Keith, since you are the nucleus of the transaction, nobody should ever call a title company and start yelling at the title company. Specifically the lender, though. You never yell at somebody that's bringing the money.
Hey, Keith, no one's calling you up and yelling, are they?
No.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Hey, 1 in 4 respondents said, this is always my haunted theme here for Halloween. 1 in 4 respondents said they would move out of the house immediately if they found the house was haunted. Well, only 1 in 4. Can I get an answer from you guys? I mean, is there any chance that if you hear some noises and it's not the water, as you said, Val, the water softener, I'm out of there?
I don't know. The young kids want the millenniums want. They want a story. I mean, they'll call, and when we can tell them a cool story, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to necessarily live in a haunted house unless I've got friendly ghosts and I'm going to make friends with them, I guess. So, yeah.
Hey, Harvey, my house is haunted because I live here and my wife isn't moving out.
She's not going anywhere. Exactly. All right. Definitely want to reach out to all the buyers out there and sellers. Again, give us a phone call at Capital Mortgage Funding. If you're going to be selling your house too, it's always very important to sit down. Guidelines have changed. The pandemic has changed a couple different things too. We're requiring self-employed people across the United States now are required to provide a year-to-date profit and loss statement and a signed balance sheet. That's right. Your lender wants to know that your job security is very good. There are a couple million people out there that are going through the forbearance stuff. Now, we haven't had that so bad here in Michigan, which is really good for us as the automotive company is really back working. Everyone in the plants and the suppliers are back working. But I think some people still are taking it on the chin, especially in the service industry. So a little reach out to anyone in the service industry. Definitely hang in there. Contact your lender and make sure you can modify your loan. Find out what you can do if you're having trouble making your payments. Don't just forget about it. Don't just not worry about it. Be proactive and do things that you can really help yourself. And then on the buyer's end, Val, what we're always stressing to people is they're always asking, what's the rate? What's the rate? Well, here, what the rate is the best rate you can get out there based on your credit score. So it's very important if you're thinking about home ownership with holiday season coming, Val, people start macking out their credit cards. And that's not good because if you mac out in that usage on the credit card, your credit score is going to drop. So definitely we want to tell you, Val, you've had a couple of those. control your debt over home buying or over the holiday season.
Oh, yeah. Or the guy that runs out and buys the Harley right before
Oh, boy.
Yeah. No big
Yeah.
purchases. Yeah, I agree. 100%.
Hey, Harry, would a 50-foot yacht be a big purchase? I think we had one of those literally like 30 days ago. Somebody
it's
somewhere
amazing what
did that.
people it's amazing what people do after they go ahead and they apply for a mortgage. When you apply for a mortgage, you have to stop spending money. You have to maintain a pause situation in your life. Don't go buy the furniture yet. Don't go buy the patio. Don't go try to put your deposit down for the brick pavers. Don't do any of that. Just wait till the transaction closes. Make sure we get you in the property, and then you can start the improvement process on your home.
All right. Freddie Mac always reports on home purchase rates. Again, they even report that refinance rates are just a little bit higher. Again, Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae, they report refinance mortgage rates are a little bit higher than a purchase rate. So because of the adverse market fee that's been tacked on, but if you want to know more information about it, just call us at Capital Mortgage Funding, where you're going to get the best, lowest rate out there. And we'll definitely save you money on the closing costs, because that's where people are getting hammered. Their lack of education on how the mortgage business works. They're getting that low interest rate, but they're losing all their equity in their house. And it's really not a good financial plan. So make sure you get the real professionals in front of you. Amortization charts are key. So always ask your lender if they can draw up an amortization chart. That way you can sort of track how much equity you're building each month. You can see how much money comes off your principal and versus money that's going to interest only. And Harry, we always, let's just throw it out there. We strive, anyone out there, if you could get a 15-year mortgage and take control of that home ownership, you turn your house basically into a strong asset.
Yeah, we like that. We like taking people from a 30-year to a 20 or a 30-year to a 15, relatively the same payment, hopefully, but you're paying it down. Listen, everybody out there, the object of taking out a loan is being able to pay it back. That's what it is. It's, you don't want, you want to pay that back. You want to build the equity up in your home. And right now, with mortgage interest rates so low, there are so many things that we can help you save money on. You just have to give us a call. And again, Harvey, last for me today is that why do we call this the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show? Because we have the hardcore answers to the hardcore questions. We will set you up for success. We'll give you the honest answer. There's no fluff. This is Detroit. We're hardworking. We're loyal. We want to be respected. And guess what? We will help you out.
There you go. You heard it right from the boss. We're here to help you. 248-539-9797. You want to sneak in a last call? Keith Stonehouse, you get the last word.
You are the nucleus.
Nucleus.
Keith, you're the mitochondria. You're all those things. Any analogy you want to come up with. Keith Stonehouse, Franklin Title Agency, Mr. Title himself. Keith, thanks for joining us. And of course, Val McFarland, the great Val McFarland, National Realty. You can find her in Livonia, Birmingham, Northville, all over Southeast Michigan. If you need a real estate agent, call us at Capital Mortgage Funding. We'll set you up with the finest here locally to represent you. All right, guys, we got to wrap it up. We've got tons of sports. Pat Caputo coming in for social commentary. Get us all primed up, and then Michigan.
Go green. Go green.
All right, go blue. There you go. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. We'll see you next Saturday.